So, how would you feel if a computer animated movie that you loved since it came out is adapted into a live action version, yet still doesn't do it for you?
What's up, everybody? So, this is my review of the live action version of How to Train Your Dragon. I was not very hyped going into this movie. I have to say, my expectations were very, very low considering most live action remakes that have been going on and been released up until now. There have been some highlights here and there. You have Cinderella, you have The Jungle Book, but after that, most of them are just pretty underwhelming to say the least. Now, this one is not a Disney animated movie. And another thing that I thought was interesting was that Dean Deblois, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, but he directed the animated version and they brought him back to direct the live action version, which I thought was an interesting choice. I also like the fact that they brought back Gerard Butler, who voiced the character of Stoic, to be Stoic again in the live action version. And I have to say, I liked it more than I thought I was gonna like it. I can't lie, there was even a part of me that did not want to like it, but it was not bad, and there's many reasons for that. I think the tone is exactly how it should be. It shouldn't be the same as an animated version because you can do things in animation that you can't do in live action, and I like that the director understood that. So he didn't try to replicate the exact thing of the exact feeling and emotion of a scene. It's basically a shot for shot um, interpretation of it. So, all right, nothing really new was added to it. And normally when something new is added, they just kind of ruin it for some reason. They're like, okay, we got to add this thing in so it's not too much the same as the animated version, so that this is the way we can make it unique and our own. And I think what they did very, very well was just the way in which the scenes played out. Whereas, for example, the dragons in the CGI version, they're very cutesy, you know, and so you can buy them being like pets in a way. In this one, they look more scary. So there's this underlying tension and feeling between the characters that you really do feel that. So like when there's that scene in the original where Hiccup is kind of thrown in the pit with a dragon. He's got to prove himself within the tribe, and he's got to slay this dragon. The dragon still looks kind of cutesy, but he's dangerous because he breathes fire and he can show signs of aggression. But you're just kind of it's like, all right, it's the animated version, nothing crazy is going to happen. And even though if you've seen the original, nothing crazy is going to happen, nothing's going to happen to Hiccup, but that tension is still built up because the dragons look scary to begin with. So I really like how they kind of added that element to certain scenes. Even the scene where Hiccup is putting his hand up and that the Night Fury kind of puts his nose up against his hand, and that's kind of like how they're going to find peace and some kind of connection with each other. It's just kind of funny a little bit in the original version, but in this version, it's like, oh my God, is it really going to happen? You're building up this kind of anticipation for that moment to be successful. So I really liked how eventually it kind of all played out. Also, I really liked, excuse me, but I forget the name of the actor who plays Hiccup. But I think he did a really, really great job in not doing what Jay Baruchel does in the original. In the original, like he has a very nerdy, awkward sounding voice, so that plays a lot into how his character comes off to the audience. But with the actor in the live action version, he plays a little bit more serious. So you kind of get this feeling of, being an outcast, being different from everybody else, instead of just being nerdy, instead of being like a true Viking. It really, it feels more layered than that. And that, I think, is the part that really kind of caught me off guard. I didn't think that they were really going to go in that direction with it, because I've never really seen them go in that direction before. Of like, let's add things new from an emotional standpoint, not from a cinematic standpoint. We can keep the same exact format of it, and but let the actors do their thing and let the story play out through the actors' performances, and that'll give it something that is unique. So I definitely recommend it. It was a surprise, while at the same time, looking back on it and thinking about how I'm going to talk about it for this video, I was like, that was well done. I wouldn't mind if they just did live action version for 2 and 3 as well. I think that would be interesting. Anyways, what about you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.